All right, here we go. Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? I'm your host, Andrew Hawkins, better known as Hawk, and this is Informal. And today we're talking about social action and what it means to have an influential platform, especially in today's climate. We have the LA Sparks, Nneka Ogwumike, and Rip City's own CJ McCollum in the building. What's up, y'all? Thanks for rocking with us.
Hey, thanks for having us.
I appreciate you having me on, brother.
Do you feel like the media or even communities put too much pressure on black athletes to kind of lead the way and always be speaking out on something?
I gotta be honest. I feel as though that probably might be more of a question for CJ because we still struggle with trying to get coverage. I feel as though we're in a position where we do speak out, but people don't want to listen. You want to watch us play, you want to hear what we have to say, but if what we say isn't what you want to hear, then it's a problem. But I feel as though with the evolution of the women's game, we're certainly navigating publications and media finally covering us to a point where we are being heard. But it would be interesting to hear, CJ's point of view because, they're always out there. And I think that they're under such a microscope that pressure can be a lot.
I think we definitely face a lot of pressure, and some of us enjoy the pressure and look forward to the opportunity to speak on behalf of the voiceless per se. I'm not complaining on behalf of myself. I was one in a million. I'm complaining on behalf of my cousins, my brothers, my sisters who don't have the same type of opportunities that I was provided with.
Black people didn't cause the racism that they face, so it's not really their problem to fix. How can white athletes be allies in this fight for justice?
I always say black people can't complain about black people problems because no one's going to listen. We need others to complain about problems on our behalf and alongside of us. The biggest thing I've preached on is that white silence leads to black violence. So if you're silent, you're complicit.
Justice for black people isn't making, white people of today pay for the sins of their ancestors. Justice for black people is dismantling those systems that they set in place that still put us at a disadvantage today.
The biggest thing we can get in terms of support from the majority of Americans, which is white or other, is that just listen and then also share your story.
Alongside with that is also understanding awareness and ignorance. One thing that I always like to tell people is that ignorance has such a negative connotation, but ignorance literally means the lack thereof knowledge, And so I feel as though allyship kind of works in the same way. Let people tell you their experience. That perspective alone can dispel so much ignorance, and the appropriate action can follow once people take on that responsibility and that accountability.
When a young player, wants to speak out or wants to demonstrate something, what are the conversations you tell them? What are some of the things that you tell them they need to look out for? Because there are ramifications to that.
So I always tell people, if you're going to speak about something, make sure you know what you're talking about. That's how I've always been historically when I speak on something. 1, I need to be passionate about it. 2, I need to be able to defend myself. And 3, I'm living with the consequences, right? So if people don't like me because of what I said afterwards, that's fine. I have enough friends.
At the bare minimum, it definitely takes a mental toll, dealing with the backlash. So for you, Nneka, how do you navigate that kind of blowback and criticism from public figures and even Twitter trolls who try to tell us to shut up and play or shut up and dribble and just do your job?
I mean, they want us to shut up and dribble. I wish I could go to work and not have to worry about what's going on out there. But that's just not the case. I would like to just go out there and worry about the game. I'm sure a lot of athletes would like to do that. But because that's not happening, we have a duty and a responsibility to really use our platform as best as we can. People sitting at home are just watching and like, oh man, the game's canceled. And you don't know the half of what we went through when we arrived at the arena. There was 30 minutes left before DC and Atlanta were trying to figure out. They were literally on the court. No basketballs were out, talking about not even just whether they want to play, what it meant to them that Jacob Blake was shot 7 times in the back. 30 minutes to tip off.
So for you guys, what does justice look like, not only for Black America, specifically the things that the athletes have used their platforms to bring awareness to over the last half decade?
That's a really great question. I think for me personally, justice, it means a lot of different things because we're struggling for so many different rights, natural rights that most of society has and a few of us don't. We have amendment rights and we have freedoms that are abused at times. You know, being able to fire tear gas at peaceful protesters is illegal. It's considered a war crime. So why would you be allowed to do it to your own citizens of America? You know what I'm saying? That's just a basic justice that's even written out for us. But justice in general would be a long list of things that would be nice to be equal in.
If we can also amplify education around voting and eliminate that suppression and increase voter turnout, maybe we can see that change in how the census is administered, how resources can be allocated, and electing officials in our communities that can start to incorporate any type of change for us in the future. So that's just 2 things of a million, but I'll just say that.
What's next, right? Like, how do we make sure that this moment isn't just a blip on the radar and that it's used as a catalyst to make ongoing change going forward? CJ, we'll start with you.
I think accountability is important. For Nneka to hold me accountable, for me to be able to hold her accountable on things that we say we want to change. Like I say, I want to learn more about voting. I should be educating myself. And I joke with my little cousins all the time. The same way, you know, those rap lyrics is how you need to know who to vote for in your county.
I would have to say CJ actually took the word right out of my mouth, accountability. And I guess I would like to follow that up with accountability and action. So recognizing that you have a place in whatever is going on, figuring out what your place is and how it looks for you, and then following that up with action and figuring out what that looks like for you.
Yep.